Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Zora and I will be doing movie and TV show commentaries on this channel. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and also comment down below any suggestions you have for movies or TV shows you would like to hear me talk about. And today's first video is going to be on the pilot of the CW show Gossip Girl.
And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
Let me give you a little bit of the show's history and my history with the show. So, Gossip Girl aired in 2007 and it ran for 6 seasons on the CW. Now, in 2005, or no, not 2005, in 2007, I was 5 years old. So, of course, I didn't watch it when it aired. However, I watched it when I was 12 years old. And now I am almost 19. So, watching the show however many years later, a lot of things need to be examined. And back when I was watching it, in, what is that, like 6th grade, I used to love Blair. Blair was my favorite character. I loved her. She was like the end all be all. She was so like smart and cunning. I just really liked her. I also really liked her with Chuck Bass, the worst character on this show. Looking back now, I don't understand how the show got away with all the things they did with Chuck. And I don't understand how he got the redemption arc that he later gets, and how like we all forget all the things he did in this pilot alone. Let me get into the actual plot because I'm getting ahead of myself. So the premise of Gossip Girl is that the audience are seeing the lives and drama of Manhattan's elite, the rich kids on the Upper East Side of New York. So if you've watched Bridgerton, this is like Lady Whistledown, but in the early 2000s in New York. And the majority of the drama gets told on this show through the ominous narrator, Gossip Girl. And Gossip Girl is this website that everyone in the city can send in these quote-unquote blasts about all the drama that they witness, even the things that are happening with them, so they can get attention on Gossip Girl. And everyone's involved in this. The majority of Gossip Girl's blasts fall on Sabrina. No, I said Sabrina! Most of Gossip Girl's focus is on Serena Vanderwoodson. And so the show opens with Serena Vanderwoodson getting off the train at Grand Central Station. And the big drama is that Serena has been gone for a year. She promptly left their high school without telling anyone and was at this quote-unquote boarding school. Serena Vanderwoodson is the socialite, it girl amongst the teenagers. And when I first watched the show, Serena wasn't my favorite. She was I don't want to say she was kind of just there because she was the main character, but she just didn't have the draw that like Blair did for me. Like she would get a mess and she would cause her like sort of mess, but it wasn't the most compelling storyline. And she was kind of just like, all the guys liked her on this show, but like I don't necessarily get the whole draw, if that makes sense. I don't want to sound mean, but I just wasn't like enthralled by Serena. Anyways, while the scene goes on in Grand Central Station, we also see Dan and Jenny, and they're coming back on a train as well from going to see their mom, who has pretty much up and left their dad and moved out. Dan is like the outsider. His whole like nickname on Gossip Girl is Lonely Boy. He's pretty much like a nobody. He's like the male equivalent of like, you know, the I'm not like other girls. He's that, but guy version. He's like in love with Serena. Like, he's had a crush on her since freshman year, and he's one of the first people to see her get off the train. And we also get introduced to Jenny, who is Dan's little sister. She's a freshman, and I think everyone else are juniors. And Jenny very much wants to be popular. She wants to be like the girls in like Blair's sort of friend group. And the whole like Humphrey like brand is that they're quote unquote poor. And I say quote unquote poor because they are not poor at all. Like, these guys live in this beautiful loft. Their dad's is a rock star who was decently successful in, I think they say, the 90s. Like, they're not poor, but they Gossip Girl tried to convince us that Dan and Jenny were poor when they were not. They weren't as rich as everyone else, but they weren't like lower middle class or even really middle class. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't as poor as they tried to come off. I like them. Like, Dan in this episode is so charming. Like, I love thinking of Gossip Girl as like the prequel to You. I think thinking about Dan and thinking about what's his name, Joe on You is so funny because they're very much similar, but kind of I think they're more alike than they are different. But let me get back to Gossip Girl. So while I was watching, I realized that these are some old teenagers. Like, they're supposed to be what, 16? And these actors are so grown. Like, if the CW is going to do one thing, it's cast some 25-year-olds to play some 16-year-olds. And they're still doing it. Check out Riverdale if you need further evidence. So it then cuts to a scene with Blair and Nate, and they're at Blair's house, and they sneak off from this party to, you know, do. And they've been dating since they were in kindergarten, I believe they say in this episode. And Blair really likes Nate, but Nate is not in love with Blair, like, at all. And so Nate's kind of like, Nate's just there, honestly. Like, I can't remember necessarily having a opinion on Nate in any sort of way, except for the fact that he's dirty, and we'll get into that in a second. But he was doing my girl Blair wrong. And so everyone, when they're watching the show, they would either have a crush on Dan, Chuck, or Nate. I should have been a Nate girl. Like, he's cute. What's his name? Chase Crawford. He's cute. But I liked Chuck. I didn't have taste back then. I have taste now, so we're gonna pretend like I had a crush on Nate. And let's get to the main character. In my opinion, she's the main character, but Blair Waldorf. This is his girlfriend, and she's like the HBIC main girl at the high school. She leads like the popular girls. She's a trendsetter. You know, she had everybody wearing them headbands, and I really liked her. She was an evil mastermind. She's kind of like maniacal in this episode, but in response to her situation, I don't blame her. So I feel really bad for Blair in this episode because, you know, Nate is clearly not into her, but she's just like trying to like keep their relationship, but like it ain't worth keeping at this point. She was looking so dumb this entire episode. And so it cuts to Serena going to see her younger brother Eric, and he's in a mental health facility, and their mom Lily is like hiding Eric there. Like, she hasn't told people what happened with Eric or that he's even in the mental health facility. I believe they say that he's in like Florida or something. Like, it's very much messy, and like Lily's very concerned with like their image, and so it causes like problems between Serena and her mom in this episode. And so like the big mystery is that everyone wants to know why Serena left and why she came back. And so we find out after Nate goes to Serena's hotel that her family's staying at, that her and Nate hooked up at this wedding, and Serena promptly left afterwards. And so Nate goes to see her at the hotel and is like being like a lost puppy. He looks like a lost puppy outside of this hotel, talking about needing to see Serena and like still loving her, whatever. Like, he doesn't have a whole girlfriend of however many years spanning from kindergarten to now. Like, he is so dirty. Both of them are really dirty for that, because Blair and Serena are supposed to be best friends, but she hooked up with her man. So messy. Anyways, it cuts to Blair and the girls on the steps of, what is that, the Met? I'm not from New York. I don't know. I think it's the Met. And Blair is hosting the Kiss on the Lips party, and she doesn't invite Serena, and they have this sort of like power struggle on the steps, because before Serena had left, they were kind of like, they were frenemies, honestly, and they're still like frenemies. But you know, once Serena left, Blair was able to like ascend to like HBIC, so whatever, they have this power imbalance. They're toxic. These girls are toxic. They have never not been estranged. And then they do kind of make up after they meet at this hotel bar, which is in and of itself a problem because they are minors and they're being served alcohol, like whole cocktails, and no one seems to care about it. Whatever, that's not the main point, but that's a point I needed to make, that they are very much teenagers, though they are like played by grown people, but they're being like treated as if they're adults this entire time. Like, they're always drinking in this show and being served alcohol in public places. Anyways, that's not the point. They make up a little bit and catch up, and then Serena's kind of like distressed afterwards because she feels really guilty about what happened between her and Nate. And as she's kind of wallowing in self-pity, menace to society Chuck Bass decides to pop up.
Editing Zora here. Just want to give you guys a trigger warning that I will be talking about sexual assault in this next part. So if you need to skip ahead, that is totally fine.
Now, Chuck Bass is like this show's resident playboy, rich trust fund baby. He's Nate's best friend, and his haircut is so horrible in this episode. Like, in this first season, his hair is horrible, but I digress. While he stumbles upon Serena, he decides that he wants to blackmail her about the fact that he knows what happened between her and Nate, because he like walked in on them when they were hooking up, which is they're so nasty. And he's like trying to hook up with Serena, and he attempts to assault her in the hotel kitchen. Now, looking back, I cannot believe the redemption arc they gave Chuck Bass. Like, we'll get into it later because he also does the same thing again, but they really acted as if he did not assault Serena and he didn't later try to assault Jenny. And he doesn't even apologize for this until seasons later. So they really just expected us to forget everything that happened in the pilot, and we did, or at least I did, because I was 12. So yeah, let's keep in mind that I was 12 while watching this show, and you know, my brain isn't fully developed now, but it surely wasn't fully developed then. So Serena ends up fighting off Chuck, and as she's like running out, she bumps into Dan, and they have this little like Cinderella moment, and Serena drops her phone and like Dan picks it up, right? They have their little meet cute, which is like, given what had just happened before, is it really a meet cute? Who is to say? So he later goes back to the hotel to bring Serena back her phone. I can't remember why he was originally at the hotel in the first place. However, he goes back and brings her back her phone. So let me finish up my mascara, and then I will come back after I've like fixed my hair, and we will continue talking. So Dan comes back to give Serena back her phone, and they have this cute little exchange after Serena asks him on a date, and he's like, would you really go out on a date with a guy you don't know? And she's like, well, he can't be worse than the guys I do know, which, yes, he can. He very much can be worse than the guys you do know, and honestly, he turns out to be worse than the guys you do know, but that's neither here nor there. But it was cute. Like, Dan's kind of charming. I don't know what to tell you. It's probably just Penn Badgley. I think Penn Badgley is pretty charming. Anyways, it cuts to Nate and Blair again. They broke up after Nate finally confesses to cheating on her with Serena. But Nate's dad is like, you guys need to get back together, because Nate's dad and Blair's mom are in this business deal together, and Nate's dad doesn't want her to back out of the deal. So he's like, okay, you have to get back with Blair, or otherwise Eleanor, Blair's mom, will probably back out of the deal. Which is so dirty. Like, why is everybody on this show trifling already in episode 1? Like, Nate's dad is so horrible for that, because clearly Nate wasn't happy. Blair wasn't even happy at this point. Like, whatever. They go back and forth all the time, breaking up and getting back together, even just in this episode, but whatever. They don't even like each other like that. And then they have this little subplot between Rufus, Dan's dad, and Lily, Serena's mom. My lights. Hold on. And it's revealed in this episode that they have this little history. I think it's alluded to the fact that they date, or maybe I'm just putting like my memory of the show. But it's so weird because this is a teen drama, and it's like, it's not, we don't really need to be focused on like the adults, but I digress. So it cuts to Serena and Dan on their little date, and it gets cut short because Jenny decides to go to the kiss on the lips party that Blair's throwing, and Chuck Bass gets a hold of her. Chuck needs to stay 6 miles away from every minor, every woman. Like, Chuck is so disgusting. Every single time that Chuck Bass has an exchange with a woman in this episode, it's not good. And they really tried to get us to forget about it, which is, it's so, like, frustrating. And this is a very serious moment. Like, Dan and Serena racing to get to the kiss on the lips party. Chuck and Dan have a physical altercation where, you know, Dan gives him a 1-2, you know, for trying to touch his sister. So the episode ends with Dan, Jenny, and Serena getting in a taxi and leaving the kiss on the lips party. And Chuck and Blair are like alluding to the fact that they're gonna get their revenge against Serena. Blair doesn't know what happened between Serena and Chuck, or Chuck and Jenny. So she isn't conspiring with him just yet. But you know, she is going to get her revenge on, she's alluding to the fact that she's going to get her revenge on Serena for helping Nate cheat and being a part of that and whatever. So that is the pilot episode of Gossip Girl. So now my final thoughts. This show was a cultural phenomenon. Even when I watched it, like I watched it like years and years and years later, and it was still like very influential, and like all the teenage dramas that were going on, and like it was a fashion phenomenon as well. Like everybody was wearing those ugly headbands and wanted to dress like Blair and Serena. Blair had better style. That's not saying much though, because the style on the show isn't very good. It doesn't hold up as well now, but you know, everybody loved Gossip Girl. But this show was messy. Like even in this pilot alone, it's so messy. Just rich people having rich people problems, everybody hooking up with each other, everybody's cheating, everybody's dating each other's exes. Like it's so messy, but it's good drama. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you haven't already seen Gossip Girl for you to watch it now, just because it doesn't hold up over time. Because like our like ideals about certain things have changed, and you know, I personally wouldn't rewatch it just for fun, because like there's no black people in the show, so I'm more inclined to watch shows with black people in it. And the way that they handle Chuck is very off-putting thinking about it now. But I'm pretty much convinced that this show is responsible for at least 60% of the problems in my life, because I loved Chuck and Blair's relationship, and I think that definitely had an impact on my development as a child. I mean, I'm not a child anymore, but I'm still young, so it did affect my youth though. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down any recommendations you have that you would like to see me talk about on this channel. And I plan to upload every single Saturday, and the next video I will be doing is a series commentary on Lovecraft Country. So don't forget to look out for that next week, and I'll see you soon.